Well, I kind of wanted to bring up because you guys were talking about Francis, right? The last episode.
Yes, yes.
So it's funny because that's one of my husband's favorite saints because grew up Catholic.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring up my favorite Saint Christopher story of his, and Saint Christopher is the saint of the traveler.
Okay.
And prior to me meeting him, he had come to Vegas with I think it was his friends, and they were on the strip, and he like went to look for his necklace of St. Christopher and it was not on his neck, and he looked down like, oh no, I lost it. So he starts to retrace his steps, and where he noticed that he lost it when he grabbed his chest to feel for it, someone got run over, like someone ran over a bunch of people on the strip.
Oh my goodness.
So St. Christopher saved him by falling off of his neck.
Holy crap. That's a crazy story.
It's one of my, like, he has a lot of crazy stories, but that's one of my favorites because I'm like, well, I guess it's true. He really did save you because he was like, I need to fall off right here. So you go back and find him.
Wow. That's wild. My goodness. What happened? Do you know what the story was with the car?
Well, it was prior to they put a bunch of, like, whatever, pylons or bollards or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
They put those in within the last, like, I want to say 15 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
But where they were at walking on the strip, there was nothing there. It was just a curb.
Right.
So I don't remember specifically that person, but it happens a lot where people are either drunk or mad or whatever, and they just hit the curb and like run people over.
Yeah, that's a
But
dangerous thing.
yeah,
That's
he
a crazy
happened
story.
to, and when he told me that, I was like, wow, it's a little bit crazy. And it was before I met him too. So
Love that. So why is you said Francis is your favorite?
no, it's his favorite because
That's his
he's the patron saint of like animals and like the innocent, right?
Yeah, yeah. Is he aware of
Yeah.
this ritual?
I'm not sure. He might be, but we don't. I was raised Lutheran, so I call that like fake
Yeah.
Catholicism. So
Yeah, it's like Catholicism light, very, very light.
yeah, there's like no confession, no, like you don't have to do anything. Just you have to accept Jesus in your heart, which is fine. But why is it so different?
I mean, I don't know about out by you, but what I've noticed out here is that a lot of Lutheran churches, for whatever reason, have become some of the more captured ones by leftist ideology.
Yeah,
Because they're saying that, Jesus loves all. Does love all. But they then interpret it to being like, we love you no matter what sin you might do. And then they wind up just draping their churches in crazy flags. I mean, I've seen it. It's in West Virginia. It's obviously in New York. It's a very bizarre thing. But it's not just them. It's like the Episcopalians too. I don't want to leave anyone out. And I'm not saying they're all like that, because I know we got some listeners in there who are like, well, I'm Methodist and I'm Lutheran. They're not all like that, but they seem to be the ones that are captured a lot.
yeah.
Baptists can be too.
Well, my old church was it was called, I can't remember what the name was, but it's now a Korean church.
Interesting.
Now, how many of these churches out here do you suspect of just doing this for the money?
That's just as evil then.
These community centers and all of this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's obviously for tax purposes. They're not really doing anything.
It seems like some of them are like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like some of them are just, because there's some that really think they're doing the right Christian thing, right? They're like, this is how we should interpret the Bible. We got to let all this in. It's like unrepentant sinning. Just, we'll totally promote it. It's fine. And there's definitely what you're talking about, where they're like, well, let's just be a church and we'll pretend to be this. It's a front, They're all kind of fronts, the ones that are doing this type of stuff. But there are some who are for sure just being like, we're a front. We can make money like this. And honestly, there's also ones who are not captured ideologically, who are also basically fronts for money. We've talked about a lot of these prosperity preachers, and they seem to do it for the money, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's like a hard thing for me and my husband because again, he was raised extremely like staunch Catholic, and to me, not understanding that as a Lutheran, I'm like, I get it, but I don't. I went to Sunday school, I went to Bible school, I did all that stuff when I was a kid, and the only thing I understood was they always wanted money. I'm like, well, why don't we just read the Bible and leave it at that?
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with the giving money to your church. I don't have a money with doing that, as long as it's going to like the church. You know, I think when you have a pastor who's like, there's pastors out there with private jets and stuff. That gets a little murky. It's like, why are we doing this? But like, the church I'm going to, it's like, we're just keeping this thing going. We're keeping the machine running. It's going to the church. And, I appreciate that. But there's certainly some of them are just like using it as a money-making device.
No, when there's churches that are turning around and reinvesting it in their community and things like that, that's what that's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Like keeping your church afloat and everything like that. Even them, like I wouldn't even be mad if a church was making a little bit of money, but like, holy shit, like you can't, these like Joel Osteen and all of that with the whole mega complex. It's just like, dude, how much money does that guy have?
Yep.
And I don't know.
And it's like, there's no, like, I think every denomination has some bad in it, in terms of like people who are pretending
Everything's
to be
corrupt, yeah.
right. And like I'm not. I used to say, in the old days, I'm against organized religion. I'm not, but I am against the corruption of places that pretend to be organized religion under the guise
Exactly.
of whatever it's Catholicism or whether it's baptism or Baptist, Lutherans, whatever. It definitely happens, and no one denomination is safe from that. And, we could point to all different types of crazy stories, even like the Greek Orthodox Church. I remember in New York, they kind of run things. People forget that is a major institution, and they had a lot of corruption. And they also have a lot of infighting on, like the gay marriage stuff, whether they should bless it or not. I don't think that should be a fight. I think that should be pretty clear. But, even something like that, and the Greek Orthodox are pretty serious.
They are.
They're very
There's
serious.
a big Greek Orthodox church out here that does a festival every year.
Yeah, they're tough. I love the Greeks. I'm married to a Greek, so I
I'm
love the
I'm
Greeks.
Greek too.
Oh,
Has your
nice.
wife ever made you pastizio?
No, but she's done spanakopita. I hope I said it right.
I love spanakopita.
Yeah, I say it like a silly Irishman, but I love the Greek food. I love Greek mythology. Greeks are awesome. I'm very happy. My kids have that history to them. But the Greek Orthodox Church is wild. And I'm not saying they're all like that. It's like what I'm saying with different denominations. But in New York, I mean, we had this crazy story about a Greek Orthodox, I guess a father. He got in trouble for, this was like on the New York Post, so people could look this up. He got in trouble for, I think it was like a prostitute, but he was obsessed with, I want to get this right. He was obsessed, this is a weird fetish, but I'm going to say it, obsessed with sitting on cakes.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not saying he was. I think he was.
How
clothed.
the hell is that even a thing?
He was clothed, as far as I can tell. But he got in like obviously some major trouble for this weird thing. I think he was like he liked them watching him sit on cakes. It was very bizarre. I mean,
It's voyeurism on another level.
people
for sure.
are
Right.
weird. People are weird, and all these institutions, all these denominations have some crazy people in them. And there's always people who pretend to be, or they're a sheep in wolf in sheep's clothing. It's wild, but yeah, you should tell your husband about the Francis ritual. Maybe you guys take a trip to, I think it's in Italy, to go see the bones.
Yeah, I told him that. He didn't even know about it. I'm like, did your mom know about it? He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. So it'll be February 2026. Wild stuff. But do you have anything you want to add before you go?
I could give you a couple quick ghost stories, and they're really quick.
You should absolutely do that.
So I don't know if you remember, but my husband is a bartender.
Right.
And well, in Vegas, if you think about it, like before we were even here, even the Mormons, before they were here, it was native land. And there's a lot of probably like burial grounds and things like that around that people just kind of like, yep, we didn't see anything, and then just build over. Well, particularly where his bar is. I told you this when my aunt died, that my grandfather came to me, and I never met him. He died when my mom was 11. So there have been several incidences in that bar with myself alone and other people that have validated the same type of thing, where you'll just be sitting there and then something will like grab you and there's nothing next to you.
Great.
And the one time my friend and his, or my boyfriend at the time, my husband, and his two friends that were brothers, they were sitting there talking to each other, and the bartender was on the other side of the bar talking to them. And I felt someone grab my like jacket or whatever I was wearing. I turned around, there was no one there. I'm like, it's a corner. Like I could touch the corner if I like leaned over. Like, all right. And then after that, like maybe a few months later, one of my good friends was sitting next to me. and he's got his right hand up to his mouth smoking a cigarette, and I feel someone grabbing my left arm, and he's sitting next to me, and I just look at him like, what is going on? He looked at me like, what's wrong with you? And I go, nothing. And he goes, no, you got to tell me now. I'm like, all right. So I tell him, and as I'm telling him, he's like, he just wide-eyed open looks at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, you saw how I acted? And he's like, yep, I saw how you acted. I'm like, but it wasn't you. And he's like, nope, wasn't me. I'm like, all right.
Weird.
So many things like that have happened in that bar.
Yeah, bars.
I think it's on a burial ground.
Yeah, you said. What did you say it was on top of?
A burial ground.
A burial ground. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of stories like that. When I was a lot of the Long Island stories, when I was talking about reporting on serial killers out there and all the weird stuff going on, so many people would be like, "This place is just screwed up because it was built on top of all these burial grounds." And back then, I was kind of like, I don't know about that. But there's something wrong with Long Island.
Yeah.
Sorry to all my friends in Long Island. I'm from Long Island, so I was born there. But like something does happen. Like what I was saying earlier with battlefields and prisons. There's some weird dark energy. It absorbs it, and it's got to have some effect on the population.
That was one thing I wanted to bring up too, because you like the whole crystals thing when it involves like witchcraft and like bad stuff.
Yep.
Obviously, that's not good. But when it comes to like gems and stones and stuff, I actually believe that from the earth they have their own power. Like I will carry a piece of selenite in my pocket if I have a stomach ache, and my stomach ache will go away. So stuff like that, like it can affect you, just like that though. Like you're saying, like land can harbor. Which it can. It's like stone tape.
Right. Yeah. Stone tape theory.
It's kind of like that, but instead, like the Earth had created that.
Right.
And my husband and I love rocks, but not crystals. You know what I mean? Like, like Cam Patterson. Oh, I rocks.
Nice. Good. Shout out to Cam Patterson. Somehow on SNL now.
That's weird to me too. I don't know how long he's gonna last because he's pretty vulgar.
Yeah, we'll see how many N-bombs they let him drop. It's crazy. But yeah,
broadcast TV. But
it's so funny. That's a conversation I've had recently with some people, Christians, about rocks and like people who believe in they have powers and stuff. It's funny because like my initial reaction is like, I don't know about that. But I do also think stone tape theory might be a thing because it's kind of like my basis on battlefields and energy. So, maybe they do have things. I like rocks too, though. I just like rocks. I like rocks. I can't help it. They're cool. I used to collect them as a kid, and they are cool. My kids collect them, and they think they have powers. So who knows? But that's good. I'm glad you have some help with a stomach ache with a rock. You said selenite?
I know it sounds so dumb, but selenite. I didn't believe it until I actually like put it in my pocket and wore it for like a couple months. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't complained about that for a long time.
Is this like something you buy off of Etsy?
No.
Okay.
Usually I find it somewhere, like we go to Arizona, there's a place called Quartzsite, and they have huge like RV shows and rock shows and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we bought a bunch of like big pieces that were like untouched of like certain things. So like pink tourmaline, like dumb stuff that nobody would even know unless they understand what geology is. But
sick. I love that. Yeah,
they look pretty,
Yeah, no, I know. One of my neighbors, he like went camping somewhere in some crazy mountain near here, and he brought home a rock, and he told me this was just the other day. He's like, I got a rock while I was camping. I'm like, sick, dude. And then he showed me it was like the kind of rock. It was a boulder. It was actually a boulder. It wasn't a rock, and he had a wheelbarrow, and he had to, his car was like slanted down towards the back because it was in the trunk. I'm like, oh, dude, you got a boulder. Like he really wanted that rock. But yeah, shout out to rocks. Well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking, and you know where to find us.
Yep. Thanks again for having me on, guys. I hope you have a good night.
You too.